Hi, Pri. Thank you so much for joining me on the Venture Love podcast. I'm so honored and happy to have you on my podcast. For those of you listening, Pri is a physician who helps high-performing professionals with increasing their energy and shifting their habits to create more time and improve their relationships. So happy you're here. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Violet, so much for having me on your podcast, and sharing my message with the tribe has never come even more timely than it needs to be from the past.
Yeah, so happy you're here. So I'd love to dive into how you became a performance coach and what made you want to move into this career. So as a physician, did you find that the medical field was lacking in a specific area? And I ask this because as a certified life and health coach from IIN, I found myself learning that, there's so many of us that when we're in doctor's office, we feel rushed, and there's so much more that we need support and help with. So can you share your thoughts on this and what made you want to move into this area, this professional area for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was younger, I was raised around the sport of cricket. And growing up in a family of engineers, I always thought I was going to be an engineer. But unfortunately, life took different turns, and I ended up going to medical school. What I enjoyed about medicine and engineering was honestly just how the body functions, but the nature of how medicine is currently in the United States, it makes it difficult to optimize just the entire wellness of the patient in an office visit. So with the model of performance coaching, I want to help integrate not only preventative care for the well-being of the patient, but also help them understand all the different things that go into improving their overall performance at the end of the day. They have to be better workers, they have to be better parents. How do they really go about doing that if there is things like sleep, chronic stress, exposure to toxins even, and there's different things that affect an individual, and waiting sort of towards the end until things fall through, which is normal for quite a bit of our population. How can we really take a dive into into the topic of wellness without it feeling like, hey, I'm going to the doctor? It's going to be more of a concept of how can I actually improve my performance. Normal high-performing professionals are the last people to sort of go to the doctor. I know I've been there. I know a lot of other nurses and doctors that, they think that they can make themselves well. But honestly, as you have seen with the pandemic, even that a lot of people are feeling burned out because they have not put in those systems in place to take care of their stress, their mental health, their nutrition goals, and just overall life goals as to what they want to see for their themselves and their families at the end of the day. So with this model, I hope to educate as well as coach people as to how to come to those pieces of goals in their life, but also help them not only create the vision, but also show them the steps of how they can get there. And as someone that can really do a lot of lean stream mapping, and I say that I have tried to perfect in different avenues of my life through failing, of course, and how I can improve my nutrition, how I can improve my sleep, how can I be really present with my children or my spouse, how can I really be present with patients when I'm talking to them. So there's a lot of people out there that are struggling with just sort of that presence piece of their life. So not only incorporating health and wellness, but helping them create systems so that they're more present and not feeling so overwhelmed with life is what my passion is.
I love that. I love that you I was just thinking as you were speaking, thinking back to when I was in my health coaching program, how merging, the medical world with this whole holistic, integrative nutrition, self-care, wellness is so, so important. So I can already see everyone needing your help and everyone coming
Yeah.
to you for support, because it's such a necessary, needed thing, especially like you mentioned in this day and age where so many of us, because of COVID and constant lockdowns, we're stuck at home. And maybe, you're a mom, so you've got kids running around, or your partner running around needing
Yeah.
something. There's so many so many areas of your life that so many people are being pulled, especially as women, I believe.
Hmm.
So I think seeking support
Absolutely.
from someone like you would be so, so beneficial. Um, for sure. So for our listeners who might be feeling, or I'm assuming most of our listeners that are listening to this episode might be feeling, tired or overwhelmed, or just feeling like, I have a lot going on my plate, family, professional activities, things I want to get done and do well, but also take care of myself. What are maybe a few tips, maybe like 1 to 3 tips that you would recommend as starting points, like bite-sized pieces that they can start implementing into their life today to help alleviate overwhelm or stress, or any helpful tips that you could recommend to them?
Yeah. Um, that's a great question for anybody, I think, that is not only listening to the podcast, and it's something that I also advocate for my patients. Um, so my first biggest tip is finding the right tribe that can support you along your journey, whether that be medical professionals, coaches, family. Determine who those people are that truly uplift you rather than drain you,
Mm-hmm.
and work from there. My second tip is figuring out what your zone of genius is. I know I worked in medicine, but what I really love is really coaching patients, and I really love uplifting them. I'm great with numbers as well. So using data to actually figure out where the gaps lie is something I am great at. You may be great at different things, but really understanding what aspect of even just maybe your job it is that you truly love and could do even if you're not getting paid is a great thing to ponder on. And the third big thing is identify what your energy drains are. There may be things in your day that you just dislike doing. So figure out how can you do less of those. You can maybe, if you can afford it, pay somebody else to do it, and start incorporating more things that you truly enjoy in your day. So that not only you're feeling fulfilled, the fruits of your fulfillment are also witnessed by the rest of your family.
I love that. Those are such good tips. I think those could apply to anyone and everyone listening. I mean, it's a constant reminder for me to eliminate the things that drain my energy, especially right now as I'm pregnant. My second trimester of just managing expectations for myself and family. And I think those are just such helpful, good, solid tips that will really help anybody at any age, truthfully speaking. Those are such helpful tips. And for anyone that's interested in working with you, or finding you, or learning more about how they can seek your support or coaching, how can they find you? How can they connect?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me over here. But if anyone needs to reach out to me, I'm on LinkedIn at Pri Hennis, or at Instagram at Pri Hennis. So feel free to message me, and I'll be more than able to connect a call with you so that I can figure out with you what ways we can serve you.
I love that. Thank you so, so much for your time. This was such a wonderful chat. And I know that everyone listening will super, super duper benefit from this conversation, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.